Hey, what's up everyone? Just doing a quick follow-up here on some of the items that are steadily rising in price here in Archeage, because you may be wondering what's actually rising in value rather than losing value or staying the same. You may be thinking that it's really hard to kind of beat the inflation that's happening. Pretty much nothing selling. We've heard that. So here's some of the items, and we have highlighted these a while back as well. So you can take a look here at the armor regrade scroll. So we are on easy server, easy eye, and the armor regrade scroll, the cheapest one out there is 47 gold right now, which that is pretty ridiculous. That's pretty damn expensive for an armor regrade scroll. But again, they probably do have a lot of room to grow, as at the end of the game here, when you reach level 50, you have nothing else to do necessarily. You're always just trying to progress your weapons higher and progress your armor higher. So, all this money is being brought in, and you can see here's the weapon regrade scroll at 37G. All this money is being brought in, and this is the only money sink really in the game, is these regrade scrolls. Every time you try to regrade, you lose a little bit of money. You have the potential chance to break your weapon or armor as well once you get higher in the regrade process. And so this is where you start, just pumping out money. This is what you do at the end of the game. You just start trying to get better equipment. Those regrade scrolls you have to craft, or you get them from the cash shop in the marketplace in the boxes, the RNG boxes. Where you get the base components are the moon points, and you can see the moon point is at 36G right now, very expensive as well. And then the sun point, again, these two items, the moon point and the sun point, can be found in the coin purses at a very low rate. They're roughly probably around 1 in every 100 or 200 coin purses that you open up. You can potentially find, again, one of those, either a sun point, a moon point, or a star point, which is the accessory one, which is not really worth too much. We have the star point, or the accessory regrade scroll right here, and you can see the value is only worth around 6 gold or so, 7 gold roughly. So the star point definitely is not the one that you want to pick when you are coin purse farming. And again, those are items that have steadily increased in the last month or two, and they took a dive not too long ago. They took a dive probably around 3 weeks ago when they introduced the flashy racing kits. And this is why it's surprising, is because they introduced flashy racing kits, and these things started dropping out of them like crazy. People were buying them because they wanted to get the rumbling Archeum tree sampling. And they took those flashy race kits away, but they replaced them with 2 more racing kits that have the exact same items in them. So you can still get armor regrade scrolls, you can still get weapon regrade scrolls, and the prices on these regrade scrolls have actually just jumped through the roof in the last week or so. And, the reason I'm thinking why is because everyone now has those Thunderstruck trees. So they are now doing trade pack runs with 5 or so trade packs per run. They also have merchant ships because you need that Thunderstruck log and Thunderstruck tree to make the merchant ship. So now they're generating a lot more money quicker, and they're bringing up the value of these guys rapidly. And then there's also the castles. The castles are probably the biggest reason there's inflation on these items. So every week, I believe it is every week, the owner of the castle up here, and this is why the Aurorian launch was so critical, is the owner of this castle gets some of the peace fund, or I don't know, I'm not exactly sure if it's every week, but people have said that it's every siege. So if it's every siege, that means it's every 3 weeks. But again, I don't know exactly how it works because there's so many conflicting different reports. But all that you guys need to know is that this peace fund goes to the guild owner, or at least some of that money goes to the guild owner, and it gets really, really high. You can see right here, this one is 18,000 gold. So they can really manipulate the market and do whatever they want, and that's a huge, huge amount of inflation going into. And since this one doesn't have a peace one actually. So but it's, again, there's a lot of money entering the system here from these castle sieges. So it's bizarre. This one doesn't have a peace fund on it, so it may be glitched. But yeah, so these guild leaders have been generating a lot of money because the sieges are pretty much like glitched right now, where you can't really lose, and they're just getting free money for really being lucky and having a little bit of planning, a little bit of, you know, thought process, but they didn't have to compete with the entire server. So they're getting all this free money and there's nothing else to spend it on besides regrading your armor and weapons. So there you have it, guys. If you are looking for long-term investments that are probably always going to increase in value, you have Apex. Apex is always a great investment. But then there's also the weapon, armor, regrade scrolls, the sun and moon points, even the star point, and the assessor regrade scrolls. Those guys will jump up in value as well as, you know, time goes on.